Hello, everybody. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd. My name is Miloš Krajčnik. This is Connect News. Want to make fun of some NDP losers today. NDP party is drastically showing its, let's say, incompetence pretty safely. We can say they're just an incompetent bunch. So this is there was a running recently in Quebec for uh, for the leadership in Quebec. And apparently, none of these people actually speak French. Apparently, Avi Lewis here, and I believe it was Heather McPherson. I believe she spoke a little French. The other three had no idea what they were doing. And this is supposed to be who replaces Jagmeet Singh. No one speaks French. No one speaks French, but they want to work on the federal level. That's insane. Now, mind you, the NDP, obviously socialists, the closest thing, they're basically socialists. I mean, we can call it what it is. They're basically socialists. Like, what, if you want to be leading a country, your policies are all supposed to be labor policies for the people, then you need to know what 1 in 5 Canadians are saying. It's like 22% of the population is in Quebec. You don't speak the language and you want to work on the federal level. Here we go. It's right there actually. Having a leader who can't communicate with 22%, whose first language is French, could hurt could hurt their credibility. I would say their credibility is completely in tatters right now. Guys, what is it? I can't believe I'm actually in dismay that this was actually allowed to happen. First of all, that they couldn't find anybody better than Jagmeet Singh, and that they don't have anybody that actually speaks French. These guys get like 15 to 20% of the vote. 15 to 20% of the vote they're receiving from Canadians. They don't have the most basic standard for a national party. Like, if you want to lead the country, in French is an official language, and Quebec holds parliamentary seats. Like, how thick do you have to be to want to run for federal government and not know an official language? And I'm actually happy this happened. I'm happy this happened because I think that they should not be in politics in general. They shouldn't be mispronouncing phrases. Look at this. So they actually had to read this right here. Notre parti n'a pas de chemin sur le Québec. So they were reading these things, and they couldn't pronounce it well. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Look at this. I'm sorry, en anglais. Like, honestly, it's embarrassing, and I think it's due time that they were thoroughly embarrassed, because that orange wave that happened, oh, we workers' rights in Canada and all of that, that has just led us continually down a path that, honestly, quite simply, led to nothing. And look at this, and I talked about this before. So the NDP and the Liberal Party, at least under Blackface Justin Trudeau, they really acted as a liberal uniparty, because the NDP gave full support. They gave their 15-20% of the vote that they were getting to support Blackface Justin Trudeau in all of his immigration policies. So all of this flooding of immigrants and easing of permanent residents and getting student visas in and all of that, this mass of 4 million people that came in a 5-year span, instead of our classic 250,000, 300,000 people that were coming in annually. Now we had 1 million people that were coming in annually, right? And this is thanks to these guys, to the NDP. This is the future of that. These 5 years, thanks to these guys and Blackface Justin, right? That's one thing. They also fully supported all of these extra tax levies that came in with the carbon taxes and all of that. That's all them as well. That's all them. They've been systematically breaking down society economically for the working class. And this is supposed to be a party of the working class. More regulations on companies, more regulations here, the more you regulate, the less ability you give business to grow. These people can't govern anybody. If they can't govern 1/5 of the country's population, they can't govern anybody. And all of this immigration policy, now we have in sports events we have "O Canada" being sung in Punjab. It's not an official language, but we have "O Canada" being sung in Punjab. These guys can't speak French. It's been an official language for like 150 years. They can't speak French. What are you gonna do if Punjab becomes an official language? What is everybody gonna do? How are these, like, who is gonna know how to do that? Learn that language. Not these guys. Not these guys. It is truly embarrassing, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy that they've embarrassed themselves this much, because I really hope that they fall, well below like 10%, and there's some just marginalized party like the Green Party. The only thing I don't hope is, pardon me, is that their votes go to an actual catastrophe like the Green Party, like even the Liberal. I mean, who else are they going to go vote for? And I would actually love to understand who the what the mental capacity is of the people that vote for the NDP. What does that look like? What are they really hoping to achieve by voting NDP? Because I don't really understand. I don't really understand what the goals are of the NDP anymore, because they're not a working class. They're not a working class party anymore, right? They've made all of their promises. They've always got traded for some kind of activism alongside the Liberals, right? So anything that Blackface Justin was saying, trying to push, they supported it because it was kind of in line with what they were doing. And that, like I said, that was with housing, with wages, energy, job security. It all went to detriment because of these idiots. Like, they backed the Liberal budget and raised federal carbon taxes, which increased home heating and transport costs for workers. They also supported the Liberals in the anti-SCAB bill that still leaves federally regulated workers exposed to replacement labor through broad exemption. I can't believe that they're still around, and I'm really happy that this is happening. And look what he says. He says this guy, so the guy with the beard, Rob Ashton. He's like, I guarantee that I've been working on my Francais. I'm going to bust my butt on that, buddy. You're half a foot in the grave, man. You're going through a midlife crisis. You're not learning French. Your days are past. Get out of here. He says everybody up here, I believe, is dedicated to learning the French language. You should have done it when you were entering politics, buddy. What are you talking about? You should have. Oh my God. He says, but my adult life I spent trying to hone my native language of Likala. Bro, don't be pulling this native stuff out of your ass all of a sudden. I've been trying to hone my language of Likala my whole life, Buddy, if you haven't learned your native language by the age of 20, you're never going to learn it. Just like if you haven't really learned French by the age of 20, you're not really going to learn it. You need to systematically be studying this. Yeah, you can learn it if you're an adult, obviously. Not saying you can't. But learning a new language when you're like 50 is not an easy task. No one's going around learning new languages when they're like 50. I'm so happy this happened. I'm so happy this happened. It's just because, they're always positioning themselves as this like pro-labor, pro-union, social democrat party. But all they're ever doing is supporting these high immigration levels, aggressive climate policies, all of these social programs, stronger federal regulations for industries, and it the expenses on Canadians' pockets just keep ballooning. They just keeps ballooning, and it's literally them. They're supporting these idiotic policies, and we're getting what we're getting, right? It's single-handedly because of them, because they keep supporting stupid policies. Like, they have to get this. The only French guy, the only guy that speaks French is a Frenchman from Quebec in the NDP party, and he's cracking jokes. He's like, look at this. He says, Richard said that the French is a barrier but not a dead end. He pointed to the past leaders who worked hard to improve their French. He says, people have a lot of grace for someone who's willing to try. Come on, man. What do you mean? A lot of grace for someone. You need to know the language. You want to be a prime minister. What are you talking about? Telling people that you're dedicating time to improving, I think in itself is good. That's what we saw with Mr. Come on. I mean, Mark Harney's not fluent, but he speaks it. It's just embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. But you know, this type of stuff kind of exists all over the place, though. It's not really just with the NDP, right? Look at this. He said he asked if he was satisfied with his performance. That was the old guy with the hat. He says, "Je brain dead." Guys, how can we allow these people to be even voted in? They should not have seats in parliament. They should have nothing. The best that they can do is work on the local level from wherever they are. And I believe all of these guys here, I believe all of them are actually from Western Canada, which would make sense. But still, if you want to work on the federal level, you need to know French. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Now, I don't want to get into the actual Liberals too much, but I mean, we have some mishmashing coming in because Marc Miller is coming back. Marc Miller was Blackface Justin's boy. They're like high school friends, and he brought his buddy to work for him in the federal government in a couple ministerial positions. And now he's back. Gardy originally told him he didn't want him, but now he's like, hey, Mark, hey, buddy, you want to come back? I can use you. So he's going to come back as a culture minister to replace Stephen Guilbeault, the guy that was siphoning federal funds for green initiatives. I talked about that in a previous article. So I can only imagine how much money Marc Miller, Justin Trudeau's, Blackface Justin's high school buddy, was siphoning off. I would honestly do a massive Doge audit on all of them and put everybody in jail. Everybody. Anybody caught, high treason. You can't be doing that. Get out of here. I would call it treason. Get out of here. People need to be going to jail. People need to be terrified of stealing. And I think there's just mass theft going on at the federal level. And people honestly, I think people are just getting lazy with the level of theft that's happening, and they're slipping. They're slipping. Like you had the SNC Lavalin case with Blackface Justin. Nothing happened with that. There's no prosecutors that went after him. The guy should have been in jail for that. Get out of here. Immediate elections, you're arrested, you're being questioned, get out of here. You can't be prime minister anymore. No, he gets voted in again. He gets voted in again. If it's public knowledge that Stephen Guilbeault, like there's written documentation, I showed it in the one episode, that the guy was setting himself up so that the federal government could pay his private entity over $200 million, or a company that he's a shareholder in, to pay them $200 million in funds. What do you think everybody else was doing? And then you have these guys that can't even fake it. You have these five people that can't even fake it. They can't even fake it by learning French. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Tell me what you guys think about the NDP, about Canada's overall liberal politics that exist. I think it's a catastrophe. I think, honestly, we need to really pump the brakes on all of these liberal policies. I think it's just completely ruining the country, to be honest. Tell me what you guys think. My name is Miloš Krajčnik. This is Canuck News. Stay informed, stay curious, and God bless Canada.
This is Canada. Maple syrup and like cabinet. Kick your ass all hockey season. Mounties be riding horses.